bekommen und einbinden.
Aufnahme gestartet, 21:18 Uhr. Aber grundsätzlich bedeutet International E-Democracy Talk jetzt, das machen wir auf Englisch, ne?
Ganz genau.
Also Daniel, nur mal so zur Info.
Was willst du damit sagen?
Weil du letztens irgendwie meintest, wegen Moderation von dem Talk, dass du da wegen Englisch und so, da hast du erst ein bisschen gezögert.
Also ich kann meinen Wiki 9999 auf Englisch vorstellen und kann auch eine Moderation auf Englisch machen vor Ort. Kein Problem. Habe ich, ja.
Machst du die Moderation heute?
Nein, mache ich nicht, weil ich heute wahrscheinlich frühzeitig mich verabschieden möchte. Ja.
Ah. Wer macht sie dann?
Also ich mache, also wenn niemand will, dann mache ich das. Was ich noch sagen möchte ist, also gesetzt den Fall, dass man tatsächlich einen E-Democracy Talk in Bochum macht, was braucht man, ist dann ja die nächste Frage. Was man braucht, ist, dass man eine Präsentation anfertigt. Das ist für uns nicht sehr erschlagend. Wir haben ja schon die Grundidee angefertigt und das ist eine sehr gute arbeitssparende Grundlage. Das heißt, das Problem sehe ich da nicht. Was eher noch Arbeit wäre, wäre eventuell Abbildungen dafür zu machen. Das würde ich machen. Das ist etwas, was ich ja ohnehin auf dem Plan habe und ich hoffe, dass ich einfach diese Woche im Gegensatz zu letzter Woche mal dazu komme. Endlich. Und was bräuchte man noch? Ja, der Rest ist eigentlich Equipment und Abstimmung. Also nehmen wir mal an, man würde Piratorama einbinden wollen, dann hieße es, dass einer von uns schnellstmöglich mit den Jungs Kontakt suchen sollte und mal versuchen sollte, die da einzubinden, dass man vielleicht mal fragt, hört mal zu, Leute, wir haben das und das vor, seht ihr dafür den Spielraum, dass man das jetzt so relativ kurzfristig hinbekommt und Equipment Teil 2, da könnte man ja überlegen, kann man irgendwie Mumble einbinden und wenn ja, wie und was braucht man dafür vor Ort? Das sind so die nächsten Schritte, wenn man sich dann tatsächlich dafür entscheidet, sowas abzuziehen. Also und von Arbeitsaufwand und Komplexität her denke ich, dass die Piratorama-Nummer am aufwendigsten wäre und ja, daraufhin gefolgt und ich finde es persönlich auch eher unangenehm herauszufinden, wie man das dann mit Mumble irgendwie da vor Ort hinbekäme und der Rest ist eigentlich nicht so eng, weil wie gesagt, die Präsentation, sei es drum, meine Güte, kriegt man schon hin und Grafiken, also ich meine, guck mal, wir haben jetzt 3 Wochen Zeit, 20 Tage Zeit ungefähr, bis das läuft, also bis der Bundesparteitag da ist und bis dahin kriegt man auch 2, 3 Grafiken hin, das ist kein Thema. Muss ja auch nicht ein Michelangelo-Gemälde sein, kann ja funktional sein.
Gut, funktional haben wir schon. Wie hieß dieses Pirato, was für ein Ding, Teil da? Was ist das?
Piratorama ist so eine parteiinterne Klitsche, die überall Videostreaming und so dafür das Hütchen auf hat und wenn man irgendeine Veranstaltung hat, dann spricht man die Leute an und dann kommen die da angetragen mit ihrem Equipment wohl bemerkt und filmen die Sache, streamen sie und archivieren und ja, also gesetzt den Fall, dass man sowas gerne hätte, muss man dann natürlich schnurstracks das Gespräch mit denen aufsuchen. Ich weiß nicht, ob es funktioniert, vielleicht tut's das, vielleicht nicht.
Okay. Gut, dann lass uns erstmal jetzt abwarten, bis wir da eine Antwort irgendwie von denen mal haben und Daniel hakt dann nochmal verschärft nach.
Ich habe jetzt gerade nochmal der E-Mail nachgefasst. Mal gucken, ob da ich eine Antwort bekomme. Wenn nicht, dann werde ich einen anderen Kanal benutzen müssen.
Moment mal für Dove. Bei wem hast du nachgefragt, Daniel? Du hast doch nicht schon mit Piratorama gesprochen. Sondern nee, Bundesparteitagsorga. Okay, ja, aha.
Ja, also Bundesparteitag Orga habe ich bei dem Chef Michael nachgefasst.
Okay, jetzt noch mal kurz eben, da Wolfgang ja jetzt seine Präsentation auch noch mal aktualisiert hat und das ja auch rumgeschickt hat schon alles, würde ich jetzt hier noch mal To-Do an alle verschärft noch mal Q-Konsens-Doku lesen, oder?
Ja, da möchte ich sehr drum bitten, ja. Denn es steckt wirklich eine Menge Arbeit und auch einiges Neues drin. Also es wäre schon gut, wenn wir uns darüber wirklich verständigen können.
Ja, wir sind ganz gut in der Zeit. Ich denke, dass wir Top 1 damit erledigt haben und fortschreiten können zu Top 2. Abstimmung, weiteres Vorgehen und Anpassung der Roadmap. Das ist der letzte Tagesordnungspunkt, bevor wir mit der Präsentation anfangen.
Genau, klickt einfach mal auf den Link zum Roadmap-Pad. Da müssen wir jetzt quasi ab Zeile 32 die Grundidee, das haben wir quasi fertig. Das ist 3.0. Und jetzt müssen wir eigentlich nur noch dazwischen friemeln, dass wir jetzt erstmal die Begriffsdefinitionen noch dazwischen schieben.
Wollen wir die vielleicht auf dem Bundesparteitag machen oder wollen wir die noch vorher machen?
Naja, auf dem Bundesparteitag sind wir zu dritt, was natürlich jetzt nicht so prickelnd ist.
Vor allem langweilt es die Leute.
Das ist der Knackpunkt.
Okay, die müssen wir sowieso intern machen, okay. Also, ich finde, es ist keine öffentliche Diskussion.
Aber wir können da sicherlich mal irgendwie drüber gehen oder so oder mal gucken oder was auch immer.
Oder wir sagen einfach nächsten Montag.
Also ich würde sagen nächsten Montag. Das wäre so mein favorisiertes Ziel.
Okay.
Okay.
Ja.
Hi Carsten, wir sind gerade noch mal einen Moment hier unterwegs. Wir kommen gleich auf dich zurück.
Kein Problem. Hallo allerseits.
Ja, für mich ist Montag ist auch okay.
Okay, also würde ich jetzt erstmal sagen, ich habe jetzt nur mal eben die Benamsung da umgeschmissen, also die Durchnummerierung. 3.1 wäre jetzt Begriffsdefinition und dann ging es weiter mit 3.2 Business-Entitäten, 3.3 Use Case und sowas. Wobei ich gerne statt Business-Entitätenmodell würde ich das jetzt Domänen-Entitätenmodell nennen, weil ich glaube, da kommen andere Informatiker und so besser mit klar. Also eigentlich ist es ein Domain Model. Okay, ja, gibt's da noch Meinungen zur Roadmap?
Ist erstmal okay. Ich meine, wenn wir merken, dass wir damit nicht zueinander kommen, irgendwas fehlt, dann können wir es ja immer noch ergänzen.
Genau, so ist das ja auch gedacht mit unseren Iterationen. Also schreiben wir jetzt einfach mal zu Top 2. Jo, angepasst, nächster Schritt ist 3.1 Begriffsdefinition. Und den verschieben wir auf die nächste Sitzung nächsten Montag. Wobei irgendwie irgendjemand hatte, Alex oder so, hatte für nächsten Montag, 12.11., hatte sich da nicht auch schon irgendein Talk wieder angekündigt? Weiß jemand was?
Nicht der 12., der erste Samstag. Ich habe es jetzt nicht gerade vor Augen. Ich weiß nur, dass der kommende Samstag, da ist dann Episode 5. Da stellt dann die Frauke ein MFT-Modell vor.
Genau, das war Probable dann. Okay, wenn, hat noch jemand was?
Mhm.
Gut, dann würde ich sagen, machen wir unsere Kurzsitzung für heute dicht und gehen in den International E-Democracy Talk über.
Das Schade ist, von den letzten Teilnehmern nur wenig da sind, ne?
Ja, mal gucken, was sich noch so tut. Wäre natürlich schade, wenn die Runde so klein bliebe, aber das ist natürlich auch ein bisschen die Gefahr mit der Aufnahme, wenn es halt im Nachgang zur Verfügung steht, das Ganze.
Was hast du zuletzt gesagt? Das habe ich nicht ganz akustisch verstanden.
Also das ist das Problem mit der Aufnahme. Wenn im Nachgang, also hinterher, ein Audio zur Verfügung steht, dann denkt sich vielleicht der eine oder andere, dann höre ich es mir später an.
Das ist natürlich für mich schade. Ich hätte, weil wir hier unter uns sind, das dann doch lieber in Deutsch gehört. Aber dass die Aufnahme in Englisch sein soll, ist natürlich eigentlich versprochen und deswegen auch die Vorzugsvariante. Also ist schon gut so.
So, ich poste gerade noch mal eben unser aktuelles Pad. Jetzt für den E-Democracy Talk. So, und jetzt nochmal Carsten. Hallo, schönen guten Abend.
Okay, hello everybody. So we should switch to English right now, yes?
Yeah, that's a good idea. So let's just start with the general agenda. First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody here that you appeared here. And I'm going to say how the course of the actions will be. First of all, we will have a short introduction of the International E-Democracy Talk series. And after that, we will start with the presentation of Carsten Weiss' MFT model. And this will last roughly an hour. And after that, there will be an open-end discussion where questions and answers will come. And after this discussion phase, which will last half an hour, we have reached the end of the session. So, what is the International E-Democracy Talk series? This is a series of events which is organized by this working group here, the working group Meinungsfindungstool, and on every episode, one discussion tool developer team has the chance to present their discussion tool or discussion tool concept. And we started with this because we are very interested to gather impressions of different approaches to this topic, discussion platform or discussion system. And the second reason why we are doing this is that we all start to look above our filter bubble and start to cooperate stronger with each other, because we think that there were a lot of good ideas outside which unfortunately don't succeed because there were too less persons who deal with these good ideas, and we think if we try to bind or try to connect all powers together, then we will succeed better. And so should we say anything more in this welcome phase? Because I'm seeing that we have that we are pretty good in time, so we could also say something to every person here could have the possibility to say a few words about him or her.
Okay, maybe I think most important is to learn more about Carsten. So maybe Carsten wants to introduce himself, and so that's what I suggest Carsten to introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, can you hear me well?
Brilliant.
Okay, great. So first, I've been asked to introduce myself. My name is Carsten Weihe. I'm a professor of computer science at TU Darmstadt, which is one of the leading institutes of technology in Germany. And one of our projects, that's what I want to present today. I do not plan to give a 1-hour talk here, a 1-hour presentation. I would like to have more time for discussion if necessary. This project is not really a research project of mine. It's just, to my understanding, my position also includes the task to do service to the community, and that's one of the ways I try to do a service to the community. And for me, it seems perfect to collaborate with the Pirate Party, from which I am a member as well. So I do conform to the program of the Pirate Party, but I'm also interested in developing tools for information, for political information, for opinion building, for voting, and so on. And that's the context of this platform. Any questions or comments so far?
Just to keep this straight, this platform is about informing, about discussion, and about resolution or decision.
Okay, so if there are no more questions about the context and about my person, then we can go on with the platform. This is a purist information platform, so it is not intended to support discussions. Think of this platform as a Wikipedia of controversial questions. So the Wikipedia is a compilation of articles. Each article is devoted to a term, to a word or a phrase, and the article comprises an explanation of this term from different perspectives. The structure of an article is not, in Wikipedia, the structure of an article is not restricted by the technology, but by guidelines or by tradition. For example, all pages, all articles on medical diseases have quite similar structure, but it is not enforced by technology. It is just enforced by guidelines and the tradition of the respective area. So that's a major difference here to this tool. It is a Wikipedia style tool. It has been built on the basis of the MediaWiki of MediaWiki extensions, and we try to stick to the look and feel of Wikipedia itself. But it's one of the major design decisions was to enforce the structure of a page by technological restrictions. So each page, each article is devoted to a controversial question. But for a controversial question, you cannot insert anything else but viewpoints. And for a viewpoint, you cannot insert anything else but arguments. And as arguments, you cannot have anything else but consequences resulting from the viewpoint and ethical reasons, and so on. So that's the major design philosophy, and this is the major difference to Wikipedia. The rationale for this design decision to enforce a given structure, a very flexible structure, but in any case a given structure, is our experience that people tend to mess up information with discussion. And as I said in the beginning, this tool is intended, like Wikipedia, this tool is intended to be a purist information tool. Questions or comments so far?
So you sent upfront some links with some examples, and might it be helpful to switch over to see one of your examples in real life working?
We may switch to one of these examples. Maybe the one on the unconditional basic income.
Yes.
So example number 1.
Okay, I posted the URL once again here in Mumble. So first, let me tell you that the design is still under construction. We will.
One moment, please.
I'm sorry.
Would it be possible to say how anybody who has listened to this talk, how he can find the link?
I posted it in Mumble.
But the person who just listened to the recording don't have Mumble, so it would be very nice if anybody can have the possibility to find this page without Mumble.
Okay.
I've posted the link also in our pirate pad, so that means when the recording is over, one can find the link and the reference in the pirate pad itself.
Yes, and hopefully you're in the Pirate Pad International E-Democracy Talk 2012-1105, isn't it?
I'm at 11.5 notices. Can you please post the link for the E-Democracy pad? Thank you.
So we have on each link where we link the audio recordings, also a link to this wiki, no, not wiki, but this pirate pad. And everyone who listened to the recording might be able to find all those links in the Pirate Pad, we have the chance also to put in some notes and questions so that it might be helpful or useful for everyone who is listening afterwards. So, for example, I starting with line 81, there are the notes, and I added line 85, fundiert entscheiden.de is a pure information system based on Wikimedia was the basis, isn't it?
Yes, that's correct.
So, and this might be a good thing also to to note some things which are necessary or helpful to everyone who wants to learn more about fundiert entscheiden.
Okay, so everyone has opened this page on fundiert entscheiden.de.
Bedingungsloses Grundeinkommen für alle.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we may then continue the presentation. When you open the page, then you see a sort of an overview, a compilation of headlines, each equipped with a small triangle. And when you click the triangle, then you should see that some more stuff is visible now.
So I see how it's animated.
It is not really animated. It's just the typical show height toggling. So each element consists of a headline, an explanation, and an optional source, an optional reference to further sources for further explanation. And in this overview, in this initial overview, when you open the page, then you see a typical example of the structure. So as I said, we will revise the design soon, so it's easier to survey. But for the moment, I think I hope it's okay to work with this old design, which is obsolete. Okay, so each element consists of these three parts: headline, explanation, and optional references to further sources. And the structure is this. The root is the controversial question, and one of the design decisions was not to have pro-contra discussions, not to have pro-contra questions, but to have open questions which allow you more viewpoints than just pro and contra. And I'm not sure whether this is yes, I think that's an example where you see that's quite worthwhile having more than two different viewpoints. We also have a distinction between global and I'm not sure what the best English word is, more detailed viewpoints, which are detailed versions, more specific viewpoints derived from global viewpoints. Questions so far?
Yes, at least when I get it right, there are two global viewpoints or positions. So one is yes to the question and one is no to the question. So these are pro and con arguments, aren't they?
Yes, you're right. When you scroll down, then you see at least 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 5 viewpoints which are more detailed. This is an example where indeed the global viewpoint. There are 2 global viewpoints. There are other examples where we have more than 2 global viewpoints. So in that respect, it is not the best example.
Okay, but at least I can always put a position into a pro or con area, isn't it?
Well, for example, remember the discussion about Stuttgart 21, which in a sense motivated my work. You can have a pro-con discussion. You can cast it in a pro-con discussion. That's true. But you can also formulate a question that is more open. What should happen with that particular main station? Then you're free. Then this opens more perspectives for viewpoints. One viewpoint is to build Stuttgart 21. One viewpoint is to leave it as is. One viewpoint is the compromise that at the end the moderator proposed, and there were a few other viewpoints around. So you cannot reasonably press that discussion into a pro. You can do that, but it is not reasonable to press this into a pro-con scheme.
I think I sympathize with this approach because I've thought very much about how to do stuff like this, and I think if you do it like this, so if you are having a what question, like for instance, what is the sense of life, then it comes with the advantage that all participants are more open-minded. It's not that there was a hard opinion which someone tries to force through. And I think this is the appeal of this way to design something like this.
I agree. This was one of the major considerations.
Okay, so just to clarify to me, the current examples are not really open questions. So they force the answers to be very strict. So it's more like yes/no questions. But in general, you want the tool to be or to enter more open questions than the examples we are currently looking at.
Well, there are other examples where indeed we have more than two global viewpoints. I have to look around and but not at the moment because I have to focus on this discussion. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, thank you, and go ahead.
Stop. How is the procedure when you have a topic and so for example in the parliament something is discussed and the pirate party has to react on it, and the pirate party doesn't have an informational basis about this. How is the course of the action then to fill the gaps and to have the discussion?
My vision is that this will be done in a very collaborative fashion, that advocates of a certain viewpoint will insert this viewpoint and will formulate a few positive arguments, a few pro arguments for that viewpoint, and formulate a few contra arguments for other competing viewpoints, will deliver evidence for their own arguments, and will formulate doubts for the evidence of other viewpoints, of other arguments for other viewpoints, and so on. So that's the vision. What it is basically like Wikipedia. The tool is open for any collaboration scheme at the moment. The typical way is that one person curates a question and formulates all viewpoints and arguments, pro and con, all of these viewpoints, which is one way to create a page. But as I said, my vision is in the long run that we have such a collaborative process where many people participate, contribute their knowledge, their expertise, especially when giving evidence. That's a point where a lot of expertise is needed or is helpful, because otherwise a person who doesn't have the expertise has to do research for evidence.
But so for example, I'm sitting in the parliament and I desperately need arguments and information about a certain topic. So there must be a different kind of blackboard to communicate to the community. We need information, please start discussing.
Okay, the only information to be given to the community is the formulation of the controversial question and the link to this page.
But now I imagine that in this database, over the years, I guess 10,000 of topics will queue up. So how can one see that the most recent topics and the most important topics? So when you come home in the evening and you look at the database, you can see, oh, these 3 topics are the most important. We need desperately information about it. Please join in the discussion.
First of all, there's no discussion at all. It is a presentation of factual information. There's no discussion to join. There are many tools for discussion in the internet. We didn't want to add another tool for discussion. Well, this platform as is a prototype. So based on a requirements analysis, we can use the Wikimedia extensions to introduce functionality like that. What you asked for, that's not a technical problem. We can do that, but what we need beforehand is to go on from this prototypical state to a full-fledged state, to have a requirements analysis, what is really needed, what is really desired.
Another question. The topic at hand is just one of millions of topics. How are the super topics, so the topics above, structured, or is this just an example to show how it should work in the future?
No, the platform is fully functional. And as regards to your question, when you look at the column on the left-hand side, the menu on the left-hand side, you see this item Kategorienübersicht, which means overview of categories. So there's a scheme to organize articles into categories in a hierarchical manner, as opposed to Wikipedia, which is indeed just an unstructured compilation of articles. Here, all articles are structured hierarchically in categories.
Is it possible to have a link between 2 subcategories which use the same information?
Not sure what you mean.
For instance, if we talk about nuclear power, you can do this. You can provide information from the viewpoint of physics, and you can also provide information from the viewpoint of environmentalists.
Okay, then you should formulate 2 different consequences. One on the basis of physics and one on the basis of environmental science.
So it's not thought to be linked from a certain level.
Maybe I didn't get your point.
Well, it might be that in two major categories, the information is really the same from a certain level on.
So do you mean an article should be in two categories on the same level?
It mustn't be the same level, but it might be that information is redundant from a certain level down to the leaves.
Okay, so at the moment, each article belongs to exactly one category, but it is not a problem at all to change that design decision to allow an article to be in several categories. Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Okay, so my answer is, once again, in this prototype, in the current state of this prototype, it is not possible, but it's not a problem at all to make it possible. If you haven't seen the need for that so far, that's the reason why we didn't do that.
Okay. Another thing, I noticed that below one of the entries, you have, I think, more than 10 sub-entries, which would make it a little bit complicated to follow everything. Did you think about structuring of forcing a substructure, so that a maximum number of sub-entries are allowed?
The depth of the hierarchy is limited. On a level, for example, the number of arguments to a viewpoint is not limited, but the depth is limited. For a question, you may have a viewpoint. May have several viewpoints, of course. For a viewpoint, you may have an arbitrary number of arguments. For an argument, you may have evidence. For evidence, you may have a doubt that doubts the evidence. For an argument, you may have an objection. For an objection, you may also have evidence, and for this evidence, you may also have a doubt as well. There are a few other elements, but this is the deepest path that you can have, which I said so far.
But wouldn't it be desirable to group some of the sub-arguments or facts?
In which sense? Grouping in which sense?
So that you don't have, let's say, 100 sub-entries on one level, but a group of sub-entries.
I think things will become much easier once we revise the design. I think the design is a major reason for the problems that you might have at the moment.
Okay, what is the outlook of a new design? So what do you want to change on the design? So for me, it's also a big problem to get an overview over the topic, because it's too many information on one page in nearly the same, so there's no distinction between the several texts, and for me, in the first view, everything looks the same, and yeah, this is very hard to get into the information.
That's exactly what we want to change, to use the typical layout styles. We also want to, maybe you know, at least the Germans know, may know there's a platform designenlassen.de where you can give design tasks, offer a design task, and invite application submissions for that. So that's a major concern of ours at the moment. That at the moment it's quite hard to keep an overview, but We will definitely change that so that we work with the typical design elements, which is color, blank lines, indentations, and so on, background colors, to make things more accessible. My apologies that at the moment this page is one of the longest pages of all pages that we have created so far. It is one of the topics for which there is a lot of information necessary in any way to get a good command, to get a good understanding of this topic. Anyway.
Yes, for sure. But I think the key point is to make this information accessible, and this is I think very, very important to have a information system that enables the user to get through all those overwhelming mess of information to get to the point. And I think this is it's absolutely necessary to have, for example, also search and filtering possibilities on the topic.
Okay, I understand. That's one of, as I said, this is a prototype, and of course we will insert all of the typical navigation possibilities, and we are absolutely open for any suggestions.
I'm interested in one question. What is very obvious and remarkable is that all the elements which one can see within the structure can be rated. You can give for example, for an argument a plus or a minus. Why have you chosen to go this way?
Because it is a purist information tool like Wikipedia. You don't have a writing opportunity in Wikipedia either, although there are controversial pages. Let me point out one thing. I have seen other platforms where this kind of rating is possible, which I would regard as sort of a Facebook style like-dislike scheme. I'm not convinced that this is a good way to go to introduce such a rating scheme into an information tool, because this is, let me say this very, very clearly, I regard this as a very unserious kind of voting. A serious kind of voting requires strict procedures, strict deadlines, strict time periods, and so on. And in a serious voting scheme, whatever, the persons that vote later do not see the votes of the persons that voted earlier and things like that. So it is possible to, technically it's not a problem at all. And if the requirement, the ultimate requirements analysis says, yes, there should be a voting like that, then it can be easily introduced. But I am really in doubt that this is a good idea. That's my personal viewpoint.
Okay, but you said, for example, Wikipedia also don't have any voting or like-dislike functionality. But you also mentioned that there is, of course, controversial discussion on the discussion pages to some topics. And,
that's not what I meant. The discussion pages are also restricted to, yes, not to discussions whether you regard the contents as something positive or something negative, but discussions about what to present and in which way to present.
Yeah, there are also other pages on Wikipedia where very opinion wars are taken over, not just edit wars, but opinion wars. And so my heretical question here might be, do you believe in the absolute truth? So if you have also if you have an evidence that can always be meant as a truth or not. So yeah, how would you argue against that there is no absolute truth?
Well, there's one type of element which exactly addresses this point. That's the when you scroll down, that's the open core question, and this is the point. Maybe I should say the other way around. I don't think it's reasonable to have any kind of voting or rating on the arguments, because arguments are factual. If you doubt an argument, then do not put a -1 on it, but formulate an objection, period. But I absolutely agree there is no absolute truth, and this is exactly what the open core questions are for. So after all arguments have been given, after all evidence has been given, open core questions will remain, and these questions are exactly the questions where it makes sense to build an opinion. For example, think of an ethical question like abortion or death penalty or whatever. After all arguments have been exchanged, there will be ethical, religious, ideological core. There will be a core question which is ethical, religious, ideological, whatever. And this core question is the one where it makes sense to vote. It's a bit more difficult. There are two types of open core questions. One is of the type, well, we cannot settle the question because we need more information. The second type of open question is we cannot settle a question because there are different perspectives, different personal viewpoints, religious viewpoints, ethical viewpoints, whatever, where we cannot come to a consensus, but where we need a vote.
Will there be a deadlock if two proofs, which are claimed to be proofs, are controversial?
What do you mean by proof? Sort of evidence?
Yes.
Then, if you doubt that evidence, then you may formulate an Anzweiflung, which is basically says that you formulate a doubt.
So, for example, you make a positive article about foreigners, and a single Nazi is coming his way and says, "This is all bullshit. You can tell me about Auschwitz what you want. I don't believe it."
Well, at the moment, this platform is not moderated. If it is adopted by the Pirate Party, then it will certainly be moderated, and then the moderators have to handle a case like that.
That's like a very interesting point with moderation. So what I understand so far is that we have here a platform with a very strict structure. where you really need to know what to put where. And if you make it wrong, then you can corrupt all the information to a topic.
You cannot make it. How can you make it wrong? Maybe we should switch to the bearbeiten page. This is a good point. Maybe this is a good moment.
The edit page.
Edit page, yes. In German bearbeiten.
So Quelltext anzeigen.
Okay, you have to register, like in many other wikis, including the ones of the party. You have to register to change that. If you can see that, I will tell you what I see now. There, for an element, you remember, an element consists of 3 parts: and a headline, an explanation, and an optional references to other resources, to other sources. And for the ad, when you go to the edit page, for that you get 3 text areas which you may edit, and for which you have the surrounded text guides you what to put where. So you don't have to, unlike Wikipedia, you don't have to structure the page yourself when you edit a page. For each part of an element, you're given a separate text area. So at every point, you know what to put where.
Okay, I see. So I clicked on Quelltext anzeigen, and now I have the possibility to see also some text input fields. And I can also create some new notes. Is it right?
Yes. From an element, you can create new elements that are one level deeper in the hierarchy.
Okay, for instance, I'm on the first level, and then I have the possibility Standpunkt hinzufügen or Sonderstandpunkt hinzufügen. So what's the difference between Standpunkt and Sonderstandpunkt?
Sonderstandpunkt is a special viewpoint, simply saying that the question is ill-posed. So many questions, this is not an example of that. There are other examples where the question is formulated as it is discussed in the public, but there's a special viewpoint saying this discussion question is formulated in a wrong way. It should be rather formulated that such and such way.
Okay.
That's quite reasonable. It's quite a reasonable option to have for discussions where you think that the discussing question is weird. But you should discuss this question as it is discussed in the public, because you want to present and to curate the state of the discussions of questions that are indeed discussed in the public. By the way, there's also another additional special element type, which depends on viewpoints, namely in German Partikularinteresse. Well, I think the literal translation, particular interest. I hope it's you can understand that. Our experience is that particular interests, you cannot exclude them from the discussion, but you should exclude them from the argumentation. And for that reason, we have introduced this element type to formulate particular interests of interested parties separately from the real argumentation.
Okay, but this is at least the point where you need moderation in a very controversial topic. So that to distinguish between all those particular interests, isn't it?
Well, let me give you an example. We have also an article about the German Riester-Rente, and it is obvious and not subject to dispute that the insurance companies that offer this type of superannuation, that these companies have a particular interest in the viewpoint that Riester-Rente is a good idea for everyone. So this is not a really controversial point in our experience. Hello?
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, so for me it's okay so far.
Yeah, my proposal is you can carry on with the lecture.
I would like to ask, what do you think would be the best approach to make different platforms to communicate with each other?
I'm sorry?
My idea is to connect different platforms like use in order to share their information, their data. And my question is, what do you think, what is the best approach to do that? What would be a very good IPE for you in order to get information in your system and to get information from your system out for others?
Well, the MediaWiki philosophy is that everything is captured in a database.
And this database will be accessible for everyone.
It can be made accessible for everyone, at least readable. You should make it world writable. You should not make, of course, you should not make it word writable. I'm nearly done with the presentation. There's one more point to mention. For consequences, for evidence, for objections, for doubts, you get a menu of proposals of the type. So, for example, for evidence, there may be the type may be a scientific study, the type may be a mathematical proof, the type may be a media report, a report in the in a journal or things like that, and so on. There are many different types from which to choose, and of course you also get the option to you also have a menu item, other types of evidence, and so on. You can see that on the article page. When you go back to the article page, then you see, for example, nearly at the top of the page, there is an Einwand, an objection, And in parentheses, you find the word Trugschluss, what is the best word in English? It's a wrong conclusion. And here you see this word Trugschluss has been chosen from that menu. Or a little bit more down, you see a Beleg, evidence, and the type chosen here is Gesetz, Verordnung, Gerichtsurteil, Gesetzesentwurf und ähnliches, which means this evidence is a legal document. And there's one last point to mention here. There's some cases where the omission of material is indicated by a red sentence. For example, for a consequence, you may choose that this consequence is likely, that this consequence is very probable. The very first consequence on this article page is of this type. If you don't give any evidence, if you don't give any beleg, then there will be a red sentence saying for this consequence, no evidence has been given, which is, I think, a very important piece of information that for a viewpoint, if you don't give a positive argument, a pro argument for that, then there will be a red line saying for this viewpoint, no positive, no pro argument has been given, which is an important piece of information in a discussion.
Okay, I see. But one question, is it possible if you have a Beleg and then you make Anzweiflung, I don't know the English words currently, and then there came another user and said, okay, this is Anzweiflung is also the wrong, so make the Anzweiflung of the Anzweiflung. Is that possible?
No. This is one of our design decisions. You cannot have an objection to an objection. You cannot have a doubt to a doubt, because the reason is it would be very tempting to start a discussion. So there's one opinion which is formulated as an argument. An opposing opinion, opposing statements is an objection. This one, for this one, there's another opposing statement, which is an objection to objection, and so on. You will end up with a discussion. But this tool is not intended to be a discussion tools, because there are sufficiently many discussion tools in the internet. So in this case, when you want to formulate an opinion to an opinion, an objection to an objection, then the recommendation is to revise the original argument accordingly. Let me say one word. There's a link to a PDF introduction to this tool. Many of the questions that have been raised tonight are indeed answered in this short document.
Okay, but again, isn't it possible if you say, okay, there can be an objection for the argument or for the position? Isn't that the point where the discussion can start? So that if there is this example with the Holocaust, for example, and one say, okay, there was no Holocaust at all, and has some objections for that, and so how get you rid of those objections here again?
My vision is that this collaboration process will be very similar to that one in Wikipedia. So there's a clear definition of what evidence means. Means factual, empirical evidence. If you
But who is the decider? Who decides that? Who has the power?
The idea is to have in the long run to have a process, to have a scheme like in Wikipedia, which is not perfect, of course, but there is no hope for any perfect scheme. So in most cases, the community will settle problem like that. But if the community is not able to settle such a problem, then a moderator has to take action.
Maybe a good idea would be that for topics where discussion starts factually, that the system detects it and slows down the communication to this topic and gives an advice to the moderator, so he can see what topics are pretty hot and have to be handled.
Or even to automatically take it over to the discussion system.
Yes, sounds interesting.
Another way could be that the moderator is not a person, but maybe the whole group. Maybe one could do something like, if 5 people within this system say that this input is bad, then it will be, I don't know, erased or anything else with this.
That's a point where the voting scheme may be very reasonable. I agree.
So I want to know one question left is what's the target audience? So the target user, who's the target audience for the system? Is this a homogeneous group of users, or are there some power users or educated users, or what do you think is the community built from?
So we have to distinguish between authors and readers. Like in Wikipedia, there are many more readers than authors. So the authors should people who bring in specific relevant expertise. But the readers, the audience, generally everyone interested in that controversial question, everyone interested in that area of politics, and first of all, multiplicators, people like journalists, politicians, and so on. Everyone interested in politics. Let me go one step back. So this is just a general purpose tool. My vision is there is one instance, like the instance of Wikipedia, which is open for general controversial questions for all areas of politics, including regional controversial questions. There are also a few articles already curated here about regional questions. There may be instances. The other day I've talked to people from a consulting company, and their idea was to use that tool in a completely different way, as sort of a tool for taking notes of controversial discussions in a workshop or things like that. So there are many. So this is a general purpose tool. The idea is to use it in many different ways, with different schemes. In a workshop, you don't need a moderation by community, but this instance open for the public needs some sort of moderation scheme and so on. So some of the questions that I've been asked tonight, well, my answer should be, it depends on the context in which this general purpose tool is used.
Okay, but at all I can't see any groups of users in the tool. Is that right? So, for example, if I think about several political parties which may have different opinions or positions to a particular question, they are not able to express their different positions to one question as a group, or is that possible?
The idea, the philosophy, like in Wikipedia, the philosophy is that that facts are visible, not persons. I don't see the need for that. Basically, why is it necessary to act as a group and to be present as a group?
Yeah, for example, if it's a political question of if this street in our town should be built or not, and the Green Party is against the plans, and the CDU is positive to the plans, wants to build the street, and for the citizen of the town, it would be interesting to see the opinion of the parties to the topic.
Can I jump in this point? A further a further reason for me is also the problem of scaling. What do you think? How many people can discuss on one topic?
So at all, it's not discussion here in the system, it's just information. So, but Carsten, isn't it a reasonable thing to have such kind of scenario where different political parties wants to express their opinion or positions to a general topic?
I think that, Carsten, you have a connectivity problem because you didn't speak for a couple of minutes now, and for us it looks like you are not present at this talk right now. So
can you hear me now?
Now it's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, this was a mistake of mine. The following: you can insert this kind of information certainly in the explanation of a viewpoint. It makes sense in a controversial question where you definitely want to identify the parties that support a particular viewpoint. Then you may insert that in this explanation. It's maybe worthwhile reasoning about an additional text input area, an additional part of the element viewpoint which is devoted to that. I haven't thought about that so far because this particular scenario hasn't come to my mind so far, but it is an interesting point to think about.
I think what's really exciting is that now we have heard a lot of different approaches to something which is not well in a wider sense discussion. Sorry, Carsten, for grouping you to this, but I'm doing this because what I'm just seeing right now is let's consider discussion as a process with different stadiums. Then we have two extremes. The one would be you, Carsten, saying you don't need a discussion. All you need is a very well structured information system. And the other extreme is a couple of guys within our circle which says the same. We don't need discussion, but not because of your motives, but because they take the view that all it needs is grouping of positions. So there was a topic, and then they think all we need is a structure which enables us to group to position A, position B, and position C, and then see who has the most followers. So I think it's interesting. So we all kind of circle around the topic, discussing, or let's say clearing issues and solving problems. And it's interesting to see how very extremely different the approaches are.
Yes, and that's the question. So, as far as I understand, Carsten, and as I understand the website, the prototype so far, that isn't a discussion system. It's just an information system, and I think it's good to put it that way, as an information system. The question is then, if it comes to a controversy, how to handle that over to the discussion system. That's what's interesting to me.
First of all, the one service that this tool can do is to formulate the open core questions, which are then reasonable discussion questions. After all, factual information is given, and what is still open after all evidence, after all empirical evidence is given, and so far, what is still open, what is still an open question, that's the real discussion question. And I don't, I'm not sure whether it's necessary to hand it over in some way or other. This is a passive source of information, which of course can be referenced within a discussion tool. I don't see the need for a more rigid integration.
So at the end, I think there is a need, because at the end you might want to have information system which have very proved information in it, and for this I think it's helpful to have interaction between the discussion system and also the decision system, which makes in fact some or produces facts which are likely to present it in the information system again. Because from my point of view, as for example a citizen of a town, I want to have information also on my political regional things which are going on in my hometown. And as you said, it's also possible, or it should be structured like this, that you can also have your regional interests and your regional questions in the system. And then I think it's very or it's necessary to have those interaction between the systems.
Okay, well, once again, I'm absolutely open for as I said, it's a general purpose tool. I'm absolutely open for application scenarios where this system is integrated into a greater, into a more comprehensive system. What I do offer is that you don't have the party and the working group doesn't have to care for this tool. I can do that myself with my working group, and I'm absolutely open for the requirements that you define to integrate that tool into your information, discussion, and decision processes.
And that's fantastic. And what I'd like to mention in this context is that our general framework will be practically like a back end, so it's not very visible for the user. It's really just a neutral platform. But what it probably will contain is that at the very bottom of the site there will be a feedback system, so that when you insert your method as a plugin in our system, in our framework, then you will generate community feedback by this, and so have the chance to maybe develop your tool more efficient than before. And there was just one other thing which I'd like to mention, and that is I have all the time in this evening I have the feeling that we have problems to how shall I say it? We have different definitions of what is information and what is discussion, and I think this is the problem. The problem which kind of leads to a communication problem, and so I think it's we could really benefit from each other, but I think that it's really necessary that we each other of us take a look at what the definitions are of the other side, so that when you talk about discussion that we understand you, and when we are talking about information, so that you understand us. Because just an example, when I hear the term information, before this evening I really wouldn't have thought of your system, but rather would have think of a data visualization system, which kind of condenses a lot of information and kind of make this visible and easy to understand. So just one example, just have a look at this link here. There you see what I mean. You have datas, and you really can't argue about these datas. These are really undeniable facts, and now my kind of understanding is that an information system takes all these datas and make them visible and try to create was heißt Mehrwert?
Added value
or benefit.
So you see, this is just one example where we have different views on the same word.
Okay, that's a very good point. I was not aware that there may be misunderstandings. I hope you got a good expression what I meant by information. What I meant is facts. Facts. Okay, well, viewpoints, arguments, evidence, and so on. That's what I meant by information. So we should try to make a suggestion that you create a glossary of ambiguous terms like that for your working group.
Yes, we are already in the progress of doing that. And to clarify one thing, the information you are talking about, Carsten, is so the facts you are talking about, your named as information, is all provided and entered to the system by humans, isn't it?
Correctly.
And is there also a way, or did you think about to have also some automatic processing to collect information in some way?
You mean web crawlers who detect and identify interesting information? Are you thinking about things like that?
Yeah, or some APIs to query other systems or whatever.
Well, I haven't thought about that, but technically it should be possible. I'm quite optimistic that the MediaWiki system is sufficiently flexible for things like that.
Carsten,
Yes?
you said you have a team. Is it possible to integrate maybe work from our group, from our system, into your team?
What do you mean by that? What sort of work? Do you mean content or do you mean system?
I mean system. The idea is that we want to connect different kind of platforms. So it would be very good to start with one existing platform like use, and to think what would be a very good API, and to start working in that direction. And I thought when you have a team, maybe it's very easy for you to delegate a little bit more work to that team, or maybe you can integrate somebody who work on that topic.
Sounds quite interesting. I would like to go that way. Actually, the person that is the team member that is responsible for the technical side is also an active member of the party.
How big is your current team?
We have few people working on the technical side, but it's a volatile group of people working on content.
Okay, yeah, so I think sounds great. So maybe there is a chance to cooperate and to go together in the same direction, because at the end I think we have all the same goal, the same aim, so that we want to make participation more easy for the people, and I think it's a good idea on this to join forces.
So let's think what steps we have to take in order to get started. What do you think about metadata?
I'm sorry, it was hard to hear you.
I'll ask you, what do you think about metadata? My understanding for metadata is that you use words like ADFA, what you can mesh up with a HTML tags, and that way everybody who likes to use your data, what is exposed in your web page, can get the data because he knows which kind of data is presented, because he knows the meta language.
I suggest that we postpone the discussion of technical things because I don't feel competent here to answer a question like that. I would like to have an assistant of mine with me to discuss technical things like that.
Okay, so I offer myself in order to talk with him about that. So what should I do? How we get in contact?
Just send me your contact details.
Okay. So can you repeat it? Where you're based?
TU Darmstadt. I can give you my private address, which I use for communication in the private party. It's it's a googlemail.com address, and my name is Kilo Alpha Romeo Whiskey Echo India Hotel Echo. Did you get it?
No. Post it in the Mumble, please.
Okay.
I think it's also on the mailing list already, isn't it?
By the way, I can offer to visit you because I will be close. Let me see when.
So I just posted my email address.
Okay, perfect.
Then we can make all further define all further steps offline.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to offer that for me, it's able to be in Darmstadt in the week 19 to 23 of November. So would it make sense to you that I come personally and we talk about that?
Maybe this would make sense for more of us because there are a few of our working group located in the near field of Frankfurt. So maybe you can try to get an appointment near to Frankfurt and to invite all members of the working group which are able to participate.
One moment, let me go for my diary.
Okay, and go for your diary, and then I have a suggestion for an appointment after this, but just go for your diary and say when you are ready.
Okay, I'm back. I didn't get what you said last.
It was just a bridge, doesn't matter. So it's just to have Schnittmenge and you will schedule an appointment near Frankfurt and invite all members which are willing to participate and are possibly near Frankfurt, so that we can have a meeting, a real life meeting with a few people of our working group and you and your fellows.
Does it make sense to have this meeting in Darmstadt?
For me, yes.
It's also okay.
Actually, Darmstadt is near Frankfurt.
Yes, that's true. So, but we should do this off-site, off-topic, just that Schnittmenge and you make this appointment and inform all others about it so that we can participate.
Okay, let me say that in that week, Monday would be perfect for me.
Would it be possible the Monday next week? Because I thought I'm on the way back. It would be perfect the Monday after that.
Which date?
Okay, please do this off-topic. So,
Okay.
So let's go ahead with. So I think presentation was nearly finished. Or are there something else to say?
Wait a minute, I just want to say something else. If you want to meet, there is another opportunity for this, and I guess everyone here already has heard that on the end of November, there will be a party convention in Bochum. I will be there, Merkbefreiter will be there, and Schnittmenge as well. And the question is if you are also there, Carsten.
Not yet sure. So I'm not sure whether I can make it at the moment.
Okay, that's it. I just want to mention this point.
Okay, so we will make an appointment offline, right?
Yes.
So please, someone send me an email.
I do that.
Thanks. So from my side, we are done. The presentation is done, but I'm of course open for further questions.
One more point. I think in the middle future, the current form of democracy will get real problems because people more and more doubt the sincerity of politicians, and therefore I think base democracy will gain enormous importance, and therefore I think the potential of such tools will increase, and where such tools attack the current power structures, there will be huge demands to attack it. So it might not be a problem at the moment because it's not the importance is not as high today, but it might become an issue for the future. So I would recommend to make an attack model, so you can be sure that your tool cannot be attacked.
Yes, good point. As I said, this is a prototype, and of course, when we create a fully fledged version, then we have to consider aspects like that. That's a matter of course. And in Darmstadt, in our department, there's a lot of expertise in IT security, so I'm confident that we'll come up with a good solution.
And what you also not mentioned, but may have already thought about, is scalability. So currently, I looked at the versions and authors, just a few, which are authors. And you mentioned before that you expect that there will be much more readers than authors, and you may be right with that. But as Thomas said, in the future there will be much more participation over internet by the people. And what do you think about scalability?
Well, this tool is made of the tools from which Wikipedia is made as well, which is a proof of concept for scalability, right?
Yes and no. So I knew a few pages on the German Wikipedia which are highly controversial and which are down every time I try to edit them because there are too much commands and too much questions and too much stuff on the discussion page.
Okay,
So,
I see.
so in this it doesn't scale.
Okay, I see. That's a good point. We have to think about scalability more seriously than we expected. Thanks for that hint.
That's actually a very general point. That is, very often in e-democracy, Wikipedia is taken as an example of a big collaboration with many participants, without realizing that each page is a particular collaboration. And so even though you have many participants, usually in each page you don't have more than 10 or 20.
Yeah, and if you have more, then scalability fails on Wikipedia.
Indeed.
but seriously, I don't think that this is such a big problem for the tool of this evening, because you don't edit the whole topic, but just add some aspects to it, and I think this is way easier regarding scalability than Wikipedia.
That's a good point, because each part of an element is the same degree of granularity like a Wikipedia article, right?
So I guess if you scale it big, if you would say 500 authors are going to one topic, then the problem won't be the software itself regarding the edit function, but the problem will be that everyone has the overview. Imagine 500 authors at the same time jump on one topic, then it will be hard for the person behind the PC to reflect everything which is happening. And this is where I could see the weakness of the system regarding scalability.
Okay, we have to talk and to think about that point. I suppose we will not come to a solution tonight, right?
Yeah, that's right. I guess we have 1 hour before midnight, and so regarding our schedule, actually we have reached the end of this event, and so does anyone here has any last questions?
I actually have a couple of things I would like to ask, and one thing I'd like to tell, but not so much related to this event, just in general.
Yeah, go for it. It's okay.
So the first thing is that I am right now in Jena, so I'm giving tomorrow a talk at 6 p.m. on e-democracy. And so whoever is around in this area and want to jump by, he is absolutely welcome, and maybe we can also eat together in the evening. That was the first.
One thing, could you please tweet this? I'm following you and would like to retweet you then.
Yes, except I would like actually to know exactly where the place was. Up to 2 hours ago, I thought it was at 1 p.m. So yes, I will tweet it, but I will not tweet it until tomorrow morning, when the professor with which I'll do it will tell me exactly where the address is. I'm sorry. It's at Jena University in any case, and it's at 6 p.m. But I will tweet it.
Okay.
Then I have 2 other things, and one is when I presented Vilfredo, there was some interest about how Vilfredo could be part of a pirate system, and you said maybe it could be a small part inside a bigger system or something like that. I would like to know how we can proceed with respect to this, or even when we can discuss about it. I understand now there is no time. And the last point is that a little bit, a few days after our talk, I started a Vilfredo question specifically to permit to people who never used Vilfredo to test the system. Now we've reached the end of the second generation, so things are starting to get a shape. So I just want to keep on the interest about it awakened, because this is the moment where you have to be part of it if you want to see it really working, to see the magic working. If not, you're always arriving late and see what has happened.
I think you have reached an interesting question, and just out of my stomach, it's hard for me to give any profound answers, and I guess after we have done our e-democracy talk series, we should start phase 2, where we all try to go for this step 2 and all together try to consider and ponder how to get together on a technical side. So this is definitely a huge topic for us. This is a huge aim, and we definitely won't forget it. And yeah, this is what I think about it.
at least this is the reason for the e-democracy talk series, because we want to learn other projects, we want to learn other concepts and ideas, and at the end we want to try to cooperate with all those different tools and projects, ideas and visions. And so currently I'm also not aware of when and how we can start this cooperation. But I think a good idea might be to start discussing on the meta-government.org mailing list, for example.
And one proposal for Pietro, it would be good if you were able to make some model for the data which we would exchange with our basic system. So that we have a basis for discussion of the general interface.
Do you mean something like an entity business model? Do you mean something like this?
Yeah, or even data structure model of the interface.
I think Thomas means something like an XML file. I mean, what the structure of the XML is, that, or an XST, I think it's called.
You can choose whatever you want. So the main thing is to define the basic system itself, so the structure of the basic system, and the interface to the plugins. So so it would be good to have to already have a template from your discussion system, what you would propose, so we can put all the other approaches into the discussion and make one interface description out of it.
I think that's a really good idea. I think I would need, or it would be very helpful to have the help of just at least another person, maybe from the pirate party on Skype, even if the other person is not more technical, but just to exchange ideas, so that, you know, someone who is inside, I can say, okay, would it be something like this, or be okay, and so on.
I just want to say hello to everybody. I came in late because I didn't realize I had to install Mumble, and so I'm enjoying hearing the voices of some people that I've noticed are writing on meta-government.
Hi, Roger. Welcome. It's never too late.
Good.
Okay, so I posted just currently a link to one kind of UML diagram which we started to create to display our vision of a possible domain model. So Pietro, if you might have a look on this, and you can find some similarities to your system, then I think that is a starting point.
But of course, it's not a final draft.
Besides the German, yes, not easily. Apart of the fact that there is half of the things that I do not understand because of the language. One of the things which I found very, very interesting when we had our chat was that I was saying, of course, not always you reach a consensus, and one of you said, oh, that's no problem at all. I mean, we just split into groups and there is consensus on one position and consensus on the other. So that's something that we will have to find a way to put it inside. I don't know, I try to write down something. I also would like to give you then the link about the thing of Wilfredo, so that if someone is still, how many people over here are following that question, so that maybe are learning on Wilfredo about it in this?
So I currently try to participate and take also a part registered and make a proposal already.
That's wonderful, thank you. And well, Thomas already knows about it, so we don't expect him to do it again. And so in any case, I'm sending the link.
Just a short mention, Pietro was the one who had the first evening of our series. He presented Wilfredo, and the recording of this first session is archived on our wiki page, which I will post now.
Yes, thank you very, very much, of course. So thank you for the document of all the various, essentially a meta document about the possible documents that can be generated. I'll start to look at that and start to see how it can come out of a document from Wilfredo, maybe generation after generation. And then we'll start to a back and forth thing, maybe on meta government. I'll start a new thread over there.
Yes, I think currently metagov.org would be the best place to start those discussions.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to thank Carsten for his lecture today. And don't think that because of the questions we doubt that it's a good approach. So it was just to understand everything and to find out some weak points which we can, of course, correct in the future. But thank you for the lecture.
It was a great pleasure and also a great honor for me. And don't worry, I'm used to Mumble conferences in the pirate parties, so I think I understand well the intention of questions and doubts. Thank you all.
I'd like to thank you as well, particularly regarding the content, because I've seen many discussion tools or any tools who try to make step forward in solving problems, and your approach really made me think of this topic in a whole different way and really kind of confused many things that were clear for me before this evening, and I think this is a good sign.
Okay, I'm looking forward for commencing our cooperative effort inside the pirate party because, as I said, I'm also a member.
I'll hear the recording. I think I missed something. I'm very sorry about it.
Okay, so for me it was also a very good thing to hear your concept and what is Grundidee der AG all about. And for me it's a very good addition to, or even, it fits totally perfect to what we call the information system. And if we start to think about interaction between the information system, discussion system, and decision system, then I think we are nearly done. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Because your tool really hops between being an information system and a discussion system, roughly. I will strongly recommend the working group for the information system to have a look at this recording, because I think that they could learn a lot of this evening as well.
Yes, and unfortunately I think the AG the working group Bürgerbeteiligung, which deals with questions around information system, is currently not really interested in cooperation. But I think Frauke is there. Did you hear something about working group Bürgerbeteiligung so far?
Sorry. No, I didn't hear anything from them.
Okay, so this is what I expected. So maybe we have the chance to poke them at the Bundesparteitag in Bochum, and yeah, I think we need to come closer in touch with them again, because today's session showed that this is very necessary to me to have an interaction between information and discussion.
Yeah, definitely. So I see the round gets calmer and calmer. So I guess we slowly but surely really come to an end. And I take this as a good moment to stop the recording. And the recording had a length of almost exactly 2 hours this evening. So thank you all for participating.